What's up, guys? It's KB. Make sure you subscribe to the Underground Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel. Click the bell icon down below so you don't miss a single video from us. And thanks for tuning in to another video from Underground Sports Philadelphia. Now let's get into it.
Philadelphia, baby, you're gonna love it. Best sports fans in the world. Actually, the worst, but that's what makes them the best.
I don't know what we're recording, so what do you want to rant about today?
I don't know. I can rant about, what's his name? Torts being suspended, but that's not really F Motorsport related.
No, but that is so stupid.
That is very stupid. Also, although I like that he did that, I like that he was like pretty much just like, fuck you, I'm not going anywhere. And
That's literally this.
Players.
I obviously didn't watch any games, but also the Flyers were not far from me. I didn't realize they were playing in Tampa while I was near Tampa.
Well, that's all right. You wouldn't want to have gone to that game anyway.
No, but we will get into it. But there were Tampa Bay Lightning players at the race on Sunday, so I wouldn't have known who they were. I think if I saw them in passing, but
right,
they were there. But that's why I was like, when I saw them, I was like, oh, hello, Flyers. But yeah, I had no idea. I just kept seeing the highlights. That's why I texted. I said, what did Torts do?
Yeah,
what did he do?
He got mad. He got mad and was cursing out the refs. And
As he should.
I love him for that. I do really like him for that.
It was Wes McCauley, too, so it's even worse.
Yeah. But there you go. That's my opening
rant
intro. That typically has nothing to do with motorsport.
No, it normally doesn't.
No, it's typically just whatever's on the top of my fucking head. Right now, the top of my head is fucking itchy.
I got like show and tell when we talk about IndyCar.
Well, don't spoil it for everybody.
I'm not going to spoil it. We're talking about it after we do the race recap, because that's probably... the race was good, so...
It's the meat of the episode, yeah.
Welcome,
everyone.
Welcome.
To episode number 51. 51.
I do know the number this week.
We didn't really get to say it. Like we kind of said it last week when we were talking to Mark, but we've been doing the show now for a year. Yeah. And you kind of timed it really well with the 50th episode. Like, it kind of worked out.
Yeah.
But happy 50 episodes, as
Woo-hoo!
Mark, congratulated us last week too, but also happy 1 year of F1 Underground.
And if you've been listening since episode 1, which is our mom, thank you.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you, Mom.
We knew we were just talking to her for a while until lovely threads started, and that's really where most of our listeners came from. Yes.
But yeah.
I guess we could still introduce ourselves. If you're new here, my name's Casey. That is Owen, my brother. This is a podcast all about F1, motorsport in general, as we start to, I feel like, get into other areas of motorsport. Which I had my first taste of that this weekend. But yes, we will.
So lucky.
I know. No, I'm literally looking at the calendar again because we need to go. Like,
yeah.
We'll talk about it after the race recap, but we will, as always, do our normal meme of the week. Race recap for this week. Owen has a very fun question that he posed to me.
I'm so excited about this.
And then I'll talk about my Indy trip. I just lost my train of thought for literally 2 seconds.
Very exciting weekend in Florida for IndyCar. And if you're watching on YouTube and you have the video and you're not just an audio listener, you'll see that she's wearing an Andretti IndyCar hat.
And I'm sunburned.
Oh, yeah, you are. I'm just noticing that now, actually.
Look at my...
Holy shit, Casey. Did you put on any sunscreen?
Yes, I did. Look at my... Wait.
Your watch tan.
Watch tan line here. And then I had the wristband for something that I'll talk about later that I just cut off today because I finally got scissors. That's what this is from.
Listen, you got to rock the watch band, the watch tan line.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's a staple in the summer.
Yeah, my watch did not tell me one time this weekend to stand up and move, so I'll just like to tell you that.
Very good.
But yes, if you're listening or if you're watching, you'll see my Ferrari flag that I bought.
Giant Ferrari flat wolf. Oh my God, there. I almost said a really bad word there. Holy shit. Oh, my entire life was flashed before my eyes.
Okay, hang on. That could have been so bad.
So welcome
We're going to cancel a year later.
God, we made it a year. Good work.
Any hopes of ever working with anything in the future, gone.
Yeah, good to see you. If you're new here, like Casey was saying, also make sure to go follow us on our Instagram and threads at Underground F1. Again, if you're watching on video, they're scrolling right there at the bottom.
Yeah.
And we're also on Twitter/X at Underground_F1. Go join the conversation there at those platforms. We also have a Discord. You can find the invite link in the links to our bios for on all of our social medias and everything.
Yes.
It's a good time. We got a lot of people in there, and it's really fun during races because we all talk and we all kind of hang out.
Fun.
And yeah, so it's a really good time. But yeah, if you're not already, go follow us on those spots. Like I said, Instagram and Threads is at Underground F1, and Twitter/X is at Underground_F1. So,
and we're officially at 975 followers on Instagram. So
we're so close.
So close to 1,000.
So close to 1,000, which is crazy to think about that we're even there for a year of doing the show.
Yeah.
I don't even want to try to put into words what Threads is because that's even worse.
I know, you've been getting your taste at it too, especially this past weekend. You covered a lot and everything.
Actually,
at Threads, this is for you.
I have a bone to pick with some of our Threads friends. All right,
I can probably tell you exactly who he's talking to.
we're a year into doing this. You are primarily the Threads person, right? You are always on Threads. You're posting a shit ton of stuff. It's great. You've built this community up of people that follow us and regularly interact with our content. Every once in a while, I have done less on Twitter, but that's besides the point. Every once in a while, like this weekend, you're like, hey, I can't watch the race, can't post. Can you do it for me? I'm like, sure. Cool. Love to interact with the people when they don't normally interact with people. It's created this pining for Owen to join Threads. Which I did promise, if anybody listened, I did promise that when Lando Norris gets his first podium, or his first win, I'm sorry.
I was saying not his first podium, first win.
When Lando Norris gets his first win, I will join Threads. However, I was on Threads this weekend, and this is where I have a bone to pick. I'm posting McLaren things, like Oscar overtakes Lewis. I'm like, let's go. That's great, right? And I post this one thing where it's like, I got to balance out some of the Ferrari propaganda on this site.
Yeah, that's
balance
me.
It with some McLaren love, right? And somebody, I genuinely can't remember who, posted and said, bring Casey back.
Sarah, I saw it. It was Sarah.
And I stared at it, and I was like, I don't know how to react to this.
I think it was.
I was like, all I've heard now for the past couple months is, Owen, join Threads. Owen, join Threads. Owen, join Threads. And then I joined Threads for a day, and I'm immediately told to leave.
They said, we're done with you. You've come. Goodbye.
It's like, what the hell? But that's my bone to pick with our Threads friends.
Wait, now I want to see it. The best is when I post like once a day with different pictures and stuff from the IndyCar weekend. And the best was Formula One goes, I thought it was quiet on here today, so glad you had the opportunity. I was like, yeah, that's right. Wait, now I want to.
Yeah, while you're looking for that, if you pay attention to Casey and I's posting style for everything,
it's so different.
You immediately tell that Casey's brain is more wired to social media than mine is. And you're very good at it. You're very good at social media. You know all the ins and outs of it, which is fantastic. And like I said, you've built up this community on Threads, but you post so much more than I do. Even like during a race, like there's like one small thing will happen and you're immediately posting about it. Whereas like I react to it, and then like 2 minutes later, I'm like, oh, I should post about that. I'm like, oh shit, like I should post about that. So that's posting on Threads this past weekend was a lot slower for us, but
yeah, but it's still you did. I went back and looked. You still did great. You had good, decent, like.
Hey, I was trying to. They
were making fun of me back at the Airbnb the one night. I was like, after the race, I was like, let's see how Owen did today.
Oh no.
What were we going to say?
That's terrifying that I got judged by all these pro social media people.
I didn't show anyone. I was just looking to see what you were posting about.
I got roasted behind my back and
wait. I don't see your. Was it on during quali you posted that?
It may have been during quali. Somebody said it to me once. And
yeah, I remember seeing it.
I almost posted the office gif of Michael when he's talking to Toby and he says why are you the way that you are?
Uh-huh.
And I almost responded with that, but then I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna let it
No, you have a good response here because you said during quali, you said, there we go, McLaren boys. And Ryan said, not a mention about Charles yet. This is weird. I need Casey back. And you put and I took that personally.
I took that personally.
Oh, here you go. Under the same thread, you responded to Casper saying, gotta switch it up from the usual Ferrari propaganda around here. Yeah. And then Sarah said, use your personal account for that. And that was just a good point. And then we fully expect and embrace Ferrari propaganda from Underground. Where's the...
What a joke.
I swear she's...
What a joke. I also, you know what I didn't realize about I took that personally GIF response?
Mm-hmm.
Did not realize that that's not even the original GIF. The original GIF is...
Isn't it Michael Jordan? That doesn't say.
That one is...
Keegan-Michael Key.
Keegan-Michael Key? Yeah. And I posted it, and then I immediately was like, wait, why didn't that look like the original, really? And then I watched it back, and I was like, all right, I have to leave it. I was like, I can't.
It did a parody at some point. I don't want to say SNL, but maybe SNL. But I remember seeing, that as a meme. But yeah.
So it's good. It was good. But yeah, all jokes aside, I had a lovely time on Threads this past weekend. Maybe we have to rethink the Lando Norris winning thing because it probably won't happen for
not the first half of the season.
Not in this season. So
maybe this season. Maybe my phone's my charger.
Maybe we'll have to. We'll rethink it. But yeah, I had a lovely time on Threads. I'm glad that I was able to help out and cover it while you were enjoying your IndyCar experience.
Yeah, well, because it's also funny. I can say this later too as well, but we were able to watch practices from home Thursday from the Airbnb. Yeah. And then I got up the next few mornings and watched F1 Academy because I wanted to watch their first weekend, their season opener and stuff. Which Abby Pulling is going to be the best Alpine driver on the grid this year.
Better than Esty and Pierre.
Yeah, but so then we tried watching from our phones. We tried watching quali from our phones, and at least the start of the race because race starts are so intense. And I knew with Jeddah, so for quali, the service in there sucked so bad. For quali, it was okay, but we were near the team hospitalities at that point, and they had it on their TVs. So that's where sense. During the race, that's where we got this hat because Andretti's is huge. Andretti's hospitality, it might be the size of my apartment building. The size of their tent was that big.
Shit.
And apparently they had conference rooms on the second floor. They literally had a second floor in their hospitality. But we were squatting outside. Me and the one girl, Julie, were squatting outside of the tent. And so we could see the TV screens.
Watching inside. Yeah.
And that's when the girl, the social media girl with someone with a video camera literally was laughing at us and then came up and asked to interview us for social media and then gave us this hat. So we tried watching, we at least watched the race start and then I gave up. I was like, I can't, my phone battery is going to die. Yeah. And then, cause then it was IndyCar quality. So I was like, okay, well I'm here for this one. So let me pay attention.
You're absolutely right. Yeah.
And that's I came back and watched it yesterday. So, but yeah, we'll get into Indy and stuff. But meme of the week. Meme of the week. Do you want me to go first? Or do you want to go first?
Meme of the week. You know what surprised me?
Okay, you're going first.
Okay.
Oh, hold on, I messed it up today.
The frames. Oh God. I just found this. What?
Can you zoom in on the picture?
Can I zoom in on the picture? That I can do.
Yeah. Okay.
There we go. That's better. So it's the scene from Captain Phillip. And it's, look at me, I'm the captain now, but Captain Phillips's face is Daniel Ricciardo, and the hijacker's face is Oscar Piastri. And I don't know why it's so funny to me, because it's like, I would almost say whoever made this meme should have put Lando Norris's face on Tom Hanks's character, because Oscar beat him in this past week. So to me, it almost makes sense, but it's something about it is still funny as shit to me. The fact that it's Daniel Ricciardo, probably the fact that Ricciardo had a really crappy weekend.
He had an awful weekend.
I find it hilarious, but maybe it's you know what I'm realizing as I'm talking this out? It's because they're both Australian.
Yeah, they're both Australian.
Yeah.
And also, the Photoshop in the first picture is great. Oscar's head on that person's body, it looks wonderful. The last two look like the Kate Middleton Photoshop.
Yeah.
Let's go. That's how bad it looks.
Yeah, somebody just put all their time and effort into that first frame, and then just fuck it and slap the photos on.
It took so much time. They were like, whatever, I gotta get over this. But yeah, no, I like that one. Okay. Remove.
That's what I mean.
Okay, mine. It's a certain relative of a rookie. Nope, I have one.
Wow.
We have Ollie Bierman's dad.
Oh, yes. Oh. I felt
the weekend might have stole the spotlight from Ollie during quali.
I felt so bad for this man as he was
he was stressed.
They cut to him, because he was so stressed and so. I'm sure he had a whole bag of emotions of just stressed, excited, proud, scared, but this picture, this face is just this is pure oh fuck. And it's so good.
And I didn't see the exact moment. I'm going to remove it because it's really just a picture of him with his arms crossed and his face, the look on his face.
Terrifying.
Everyone knows what I'm talking about because they even showed Ollie the picture of his dad after the race. They literally were like, this is what your dad, went viral instantly.
Yeah.
But I didn't really go back and watch quali except for some highlights. But did he almost mess something up during Q1? Because that's what that was from, I think, or Q2.
No, he didn't do. He was very. Q2, I would say, if it's from Q2, I would say it's because Ollie missed out on Q3 by 3 thousandths of a second, I think it was.
Yeah, it was very close.
Or hundreds, maybe, because I think it's tenths, hundreds, thousands. So I think it was 300ths of a second.
Yeah.
And he almost also, with that, knocked out Lewis Hamilton.
Yeah, true.
So it's if that was Q2, that's probably when that was from. Q1, he was fine. I think, he was just still kind of coming to terms with the car and was probably just hey, if I can make it through this, I'm okay.
Yeah.
And we'll see what happens after that. But yeah, you know the man is stressed when you see that photo and then you go on Twitter afterwards and the number one thing trending in sports is Bierman.
Yeah.
Or Behrman, and I probably mispronounced the last name there, and I open it up expecting it to be about Ollie and just oh my God, he's doing so well for his first drive and everything. And it's just countless photos of his dad.
Because of that reason. And then two, people were thirsting over his dad.
Of course they were. Of course they were.
Well, the best is the one with the picture of him that. It says, this is a man realizing there's someone 3 years younger than him driving against his son right now, as in Fernando Alonso was only 3 years younger than Ollie Bierman's dad. They literally said one of Ollie's birthday, the day Ollie was born, Fernando Alonso was on the podium or something. If you go,
it was Grand Prix.
Yeah, leading a Grand Prix. Yeah,
the day that Ollie was born, I can picture that because I saw the same exact thing. Picture the tweet in my mind. I just can't remember what Grand Prix it was, but it was it was the day that Ollie Bierman was born. Fernando Alonso was leading this Grand Prix, and then you saw the picture from the race and the leaderboard overlay from the TV graphics said Alonso P1, and I was that is so funny. That
just makes you think how long Fernando Alonso has been in F1. Ollie's 18 years old. That's
I didn't even know that, to be honest with you. I knew he was young. And I knew he was younger than me. But then when he said, "Oh, he's 18 years old," I was like, "Are you fucking serious?" Like,
no, because
it was insane.
No, what's it called? They put out like later on like the 3 youngest drivers to make their debut. Max is still the youngest. Lance is the second youngest, and now Ollie's the third.
Yeah.
And, I mean, we can get into it, but I did want to talk about. Hold on. And we're all going through our post IndyCar weekend depression at the moment. Like
that makes sense.
A post concert depression, post Indy depression,
post race weekend depression.
Yes. No. So obviously the weekend started out pretty. I remember I got to Florida and there was because it was media day, so there was the comments from the driver. Some drivers were asked about the whole situation of going on in Red Bull, and their answers sucked.
Yeah.
Daniel Ricciardo's answer was ridiculous, saying it was noise and distraction. And then I believe it was Hülkenberg, Valtteri Bottas, and someone else on the couch that answered like awful. They literally were just like, I just drive the car. Like they totally dismissed it. Meanwhile, Nico Hülkenberg is a girl dad. Like, so I liked that because that Thursday was International Women's Day. Or Friday was International Women's Day. I don't know if you watched it, but on F1 TV, Laura Winters like gave this little speech about how it was very, very, very nice, and I'm happy they let her do it. Because
I thought that little monologue of hers was awesome.
And I can see like the PR professionals like pulling the drivers inside and being like, there was probably a better way to say your response. Because, and I've seen so many people say it, but it's because the fan base in F1 is totally changing and more women are becoming fans of the sport. But with this whole thing and the drivers' responses, women are getting discouraged, and not wanting to watch. But Laura Winters, her speech was amazing, saying that it's been hard in the paddock. It was nice to hear from someone within the sport that is also a woman that had a good perspective on it. I just want to say that is obviously
sorry, go ahead.
No, go.
That I was like, you hit exactly how I felt like or thought when I heard her watched her little speech. Like having somebody from the inside and somebody that works in this industry and everything kind of talk about it, and the word that's coming to my mind is like validate, like feelings of like
the fact that she says like the paddock hasn't felt safe. Like hearing that was like, yes, this is like obviously we know it's real, but hearing her say that, like knowing that the feelings are felt inside the paddock was not nice, but better. But I didn't mean to cut you off.
No. Again, you hit the nail on the head of just like hearing somebody from inside saying just like, hey, like this is how I felt as a woman who works in this industry and whatnot. And it was just like, even like, I'm not even going to try to understand what it feels like and everything. But even hearing her saying that gave me even sort of like a little bit of comfort of just like, because it's the idea of like, like how is it right now in that world, like how is everybody feeling? And it was just, like I said, I'm not even going to try to understand what it even feels like. I will have no idea, but hearing her say that, I thought was awesome. And I agree with you. The fact that she was, I hate saying the word allowed, but she was able to do that, I think was great.
I appreciate F1 TV letting her take the time. And I know she did too, because she posted after this tweet about how that specific day is also very, I don't want to say she tweeted it, but how that specific March 8th is a very traumatizing day for her for something she went through in the past. So the fact that she was able to do that, I think from her statement and her tweet meant a lot. And then you had like Will Buxton retweeting it. You had other F1 journalists retweeting it. So it was nice to hear. Continuing on, I don't know how much you watched of it. Continuing on with women, I mentioned before, F1 Academy season opener.
I did. I tried to watch as much as I could. I will say I am very happy with what F1 TV is doing.
Me too.
In the sense that when you load up the app, they just give you a calendar for the day, and you can watch everything happening on that day. Because I immediately saw F1 Academy and F2, and I was like, "Cool, I'm gonna watch those."
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. So obviously their like setup is different. They race twice each weekend, but they have one qualifying. But Dorian Pin, obviously, she got a double pole, so I was confused at first. She obviously went the fastest lap, but I think they do like another fastest lap, and so she got double pole like clearly because she had the fastest lap twice. And I mean, she's insane. I think she wins. She'll win the entire thing. She has the experience. She was in Le Mans. Like she has racing experience. Yeah. But it was nice to see. I wish the races are longer. The 12 and 13 laps was so short.
Yeah, that is so. I didn't watch the race itself. I wanted to, but I didn't get around to it. And then I was on Twitter and I saw that, and I was like, wait, it's only like that short? I was like, damn. Like, I was like, that's wild. And I knew, I think it didn't take me back as much as I thought it was, because I know that like F2 is much shorter than F1 and everything. But the fact that they were like pretty much just like a sprint race.
It's less than a sprint race almost.
Or yeah, less than a sprint race. I was like, whoa. I was like, that's short, you know?
I also like that all their cars, besides the livery, are the same. Like the engine's the same.
Yes.
All the inner workings of their car is the same. But yeah, it was nice to see. So obviously Dorian Pin won the first race. She won the second race, but some communication error. I don't know what happened. I was watching this one live getting ready that morning, and I mean, I do see it. Damian Hill, he has controversial tweets sometimes, literally posted and said, yeah, well, no one, like, so Dorian Pin didn't see the checkered flag being waved, so she kept going. She didn't hear her team also say, like, last lap.
Like,
so she kept driving. They're showing the team congratulating like each other, and then they hear the announcers are literally going, she's setting purple sectors. She was flying.
She was straight up just like, I don't give a fuck. I'm still going.
She had no idea. So finally they come on and you hear her team go, what are you doing? You won. And she's like, well, you didn't tell me. So she said they didn't tell her. The other two stop and they're in their, like, the driver's cool down room. And Alpine's Abby Pulling, who came in second, was trying to make it obvious, like, you didn't see the flag. And she was like, no, and my team didn't say anything. So she's claiming she didn't see the flag, and then she's claiming she didn't hear it. Her team didn't tell her. So it came back, which I think, watching it, the FIA are kind of harsh on the penalties. Some of the penalties they were giving were excessive. But Dorian Pin gets a 20-second penalty. 20-second penalty? 20-second? Hold on. I don't want to get the...
If it is, it wasn't the only 20-second penalty handed out this weekend. Not really, but also 20 seconds worth of penalties, I guess.
Yeah, hold on. Wait, let me... Just want to make sure I get... Yes, okay, she was given... Journalists were saying it was exceedingly harsh. 20-second penalty. So it knocked her down to 9th place.
Holy shit.
So Abby Pulling wins. I'm totally going to butcher her last name. Maya from Ferrari gets second. I'm not sure. I can't remember who got third. But yeah, so she loses the second race technically, but it took like almost 24 hours after for them to make the decision. So that's what people were saying. Like, it was, the timing was really slow. Like, was 20 seconds a little harsh? Like, she genuinely seemed like I had no idea.
Right,
but I mean, she's so quick. The one point there was a safety car, and like obviously when the safety car pulls away, they can take their time, the race leader, to decide when they want to pull off.
Right.
Literally gone.
Love it.
The gap between her and Abby Pulling was insane. But her and Abby Pulling, I could see them having some battles if it's close. That's what I'm saying. Abby Pulling is going to be the best Alpine driver on the grid this year.
Yeah.
Like, it's going to happen.
Good work, Abby.
And you know why? It's because she has the pink car. They didn't gaslight with her pink car.
Yes. That's right.
But I will tell you, people are saying, well, it's also about Alpine later on. We're calling it Otmar's Revenge, okay?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Who
But yeah.
I may or may not have seen this weekend in the paddock. But yes.
Very good.
But yes, going into the race, obviously, Max wins again to no shock. Checo, P2, Charles Leclerc, P3. I know it's early. Checo looks good.
Checo does look good. So I actually, you
can start with Red Bull.
I went for a run earlier and I was listening to the F1's official podcast about race breakdown and everything. And they posed a really interesting question of just with the struggles that Perez had last year and all this talk of he's getting replaced and everything. And especially with this being a contract year for him.
Yeah.
They said, is he doing enough right now to keep his seat at Red Bull? And my immediate answer was yes. Yeah. Because you Max is Max. There's nothing that you can really do to touch Max. As dumb as that sounds, you can't really do it. So the fact that Checo is locking up that 1-2 for Red Bull so far, 1-2 for both starts for both races of the season so far. Yeah, he's doing everything he can right now to make the case of hey, I deserve to stay here. And yeah, I thought it was a really good, especially in the early laps when you had that battle between Charles and Checo.
Yeah,
I thought it was really fun to watch, and there was both great racing by them. It was fantastic racing by both of them.
Yeah, I mean, Checo's doing what he's supposed to be doing. He's being the number 2 driver, but a successful number 2 driver. So I think, obviously, it's only 2 races, and then last year he started off strong because they went back and forth with wins last year at the very, very beginning, and not until Monaco. That's where I feel like his season went downhill. But no, I mean, Checo, he just looks more comfortable, I have to say.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's because RB19 and RB20 are very similar, so he's used to driving this car technically.
Right.
But yeah, no, it was, I mean, great weekend. No notes for them. I can't even say anything. The radio worked fine.
Yeah, the radio was fine. I wouldn't be shocked for Checo because this is a contract year. That's kind of given him not a sense of security, but almost a calming effect. Cause it's okay, I right now it looks better for me to really kind of mold into this number 2 driver, place and everything.
Yeah.
And instead of being I'm going to compete back and forth with Max and, try to fight for wins. He's almost saying I'm going to fall into this number 2 seat. So that way Red Bull's when they look back on this year, they can be yeah, but, Checo did so well as the number 2 and really solidified, and helped Max do this and everything. And then he gets that contract renewal for 2025.
And if they're going, they get 1-2 for however many races. They'll lock up both championships so fast.
So quick. Yeah.
I mean, it's like we said, we're going to start giving 1 through 4th place because it's really the fight for second. That's the new first.
It really is. But yeah, no really notes for
no, that's why we could start on them. There's literally nothing to add. I don't know who to go to next.
Do we want to go to, we could go to, we'll go to the junior team. We'll go to VCAR for a bit.
Okay, good. That was where my head was going.
Yeah. Not the best.
Yeah.
Daniel Ricciardo struggled. I mean, he was at the back of the pack all week.
He had a 40-second pit stop that TV didn't show, apparently.
No, actually, because when you had texted me that or something, or actually I saw it in here in the notes, and I was like, he had a 40-second pit stop? I was like, I don't remember seeing that. I
never remember seeing it. I didn't remember seeing it on the race and watching or seeing it on Twitter during the race. So then when I saw someone post the clip saying this was not shown on the TV, but Daniel Ricciardo had a 40-second pit stop.
Yeah, I never saw that. And then even without that, he spun out on one
Yeah.
turn without anybody really, without kind of like fighting anybody. He was driving on
No.
his own, and he lost the back tires and did a 180, and then had to flip the car back around and then get back on the road. And yeah, not a good weekend for him.
No. I mean, Helmut Marko we didn't even touch on him. Helmut Marko is staying with Red Bull. Those rumors were put to rest very quickly.
Yeah, they were shut down very, very quickly.
Yeah, when he showed up with the head of Red Bull, like the head of, not Red Bull Racing, like the head of Red Bull.
Yeah,
I knew he was staying. But he even said today that Daniel Ricciardo needs to perform. If Daniel Ricciardo is really going for that Checo seat, which at this point I'm starting to doubt, I think Daniel Ricciardo might be. I said this earlier, I don't want to sound like a hater, but I think Daniel Ricciardo might be Delulu when it comes to wanting that Red Bull seat.
Yeah. He definitely, like I said, it's only 2 races in. He has time to kind of turn it around right now, but there's definitely that pressure mounting of, all right, I do need to figure this out. It's kind of like it's like, to me, it's like having like 2 days until like homework's due, where it's like that first day, you're like, all right, I know I need to do it, but I don't have to do it right now. This is, it's like Daniel Ricciardo. He's like, all right, I know I have to perform better, but do I have a little wiggle room right now? Sure. But I would hope he's not saying that to himself, because if he's saying that to himself, to me, then he's not taking it seriously, which the whole point of him coming back last year
was to take it
coming
seriously.
back into this year was, hey, I just, I reignited my love for this sport, and I want that Red Bull seat, so I don't think that's the way it's going on in his mind, but that's definitely, he needs to figure it out. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Yuki looked okay. It's not like he finished in the point. Did Yuki finish in the points?
No, he was Ricciardo was 16th and Yuki was 15th. So
okay.
They're both kind of next to them. There was a good,
Yuki was up there for a while, because it was Yuki and Ollie for a good bit.
Yes, so that's what I was going to talk about. So Yuki and Ollie were battling for a bit, and then Ollie had a good overtake on him, which is more to talk about in terms of Ollie's story instead.
No, I feel like we should end with Ferrari.
Yeah, we're gonna end there. But it was, yeah. I mean, VCarb. It's kind of just like everyone. From the start of the season, where everybody was like, that V-Carb's looking good, like they're going to be really good this year, like all this stuff, they're kind of just falling back into the same role that they were in last year. And unless both drivers kind of figure it out, then they're going to be the same team as last year. Yeah.
I mean, there was no annoying, like, let's switch drivers near the end. Like, that was so, that was random, because honestly, Yuki had better pace this weekend, the entire weekend. So if they did that again, I would be like, okay, the Daniel Ricciardo agenda to Red Bull was the main priority for that team, but they did not. But yeah, Yuki looked good. He qualified well. Yuki wasn't he into Q3?
He qualified in 9th. So yes,
9th. Yeah,
he made it to Q3.
Yeah, which is good for Yuki. Yeah, but they not the best weekend for them, not an amazing weekend for them, which I feel like is their story.
That is, I was just about to say that too. It's pretty run-of-the-mill for them.
Yeah. Another team who was kind of unnoticeable during the race, at least, was Stake. I mean, Joe crashed in FP3, right? So then he didn't qualify at all, right? They didn't make it.
No, he crashed in FP3, and then it was pretty bad. In terms of the car, Joe was okay.
Yeah.
But
the car looked awful.
He almost made it out there for qualifying. The car did get on the track. He just didn't have enough time to set a lap.
Okay, because I was wondering. Because when they they're like the starting grid, it said no time for him. So that's why I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I remember watching qualifying it, and they were saying good on the engineers for getting that car out there.
Yeah.
He didn't have enough time to get out there, get the car properly warmed up for the tires and whatnot and everything, and then go for a flying lap. He just didn't have enough time on his hands. So yes, the car made it out there on the track, just no time. That's all.
Yeah. And I can't even tell you anything about Bottas from this weekend. I literally can't.
I can't tell you anything either.
Yeah.
I don't know what to say. Like,
I literally can't. That's why I knew they were going to be quick to talk about next.
Yeah.
Williams, I have nothing also in the notes. I feel like they weren't very noticeable. Alex was stuck in the DRS train for a very long time. Well, they both were.
There was one overtake that Alex. I rewatched it earlier in the race highlights, and he does. It's a good overtake. He dives into the corner. He has the corner going into the apex, and it's a clean, good overtake. But other than that, can't tell you a thing.
Yeah,
that's yeah.
I mean, after we talk about, I said this. We'll talk about Ferrari last, but I said when everything happened with Carlos and Ollie was coming in, I said hot take, but Ollie's finishing in the points. Yeah. And I said, and that's going to start a real conversation about Logan. I'm sorry, but it is. And it has.
Yeah.
But again, it's only 2 races. Last week was the steering wheel problems. He made it through the full race this week, so hopefully. Yeah. But yeah, nothing really on them. Aston Martin also wasn't very noticeable except for Lance Stroll's crash, which looked bad. Like, I thought his car was bursting into flames.
So when I first saw him crash, I was like, oh, that didn't look as bad as that didn't look terrible, you know? Mm-hmm. And then you see the replay where he clips the wall with his front left wheel. And then when he clips it and you see him then subsequently lock up and drive into the corner, you see the wheel snap in and pop up a little bit. And then he slams in there pretty hard. On the onboard, you see him hit and you're like, oh shit. He collided pretty well with that wall.
Well, and my first thought was his wrist. I was like, not his wrist.
Yeah. It's already weak wrists are going to be hurting again.
Probably the best moment, which I could have made my meme of the week. This might be my favorite radio moment from the entire, ever, was his radio moment with his engineer. He literally says, I'm okay. And the race engineer says, okay, can you put it back out there? And he's like, no, I crashed.
He literally, I'm so happy. I'm very happy that they decided to do this. They put his radio in the highlights on YouTube. Yeah. And you're right. He crashes. He goes, I'm okay. Sorry, guys. And he goes, the engineer pops on. And he's like, okay, can you bring it in? And he goes, no, I'm in the fucking wall.
It's his tone is very Lance Stroll, but his tone is like what are you watching?
I will tell you, the moment that happened, the moment that radio aired on the broadcast, Threads was covered with sassy Stroll, all this stuff. It was good.
He had every right to be sassy in that moment. Literally every right to be sassy. Because it's literally, what do you want him to do? Someone today when I posted last night when I was watching and I said, this Lance Stroll radio moment is my favorite, someone was like, it was like he was expecting him to go out there like the Flintstones and run it with his
and run the car back to him. Yeah, I was cracking up just at everybody's comments of just what a dumb, and maybe the engineer didn't see the crash yet on the broadcast on the pit wall and everything, didn't realize how bad it was. So I don't knock the engineer for asking that question.
True, but still.
But also at the same time, when he comes in and he's like, I'm okay.
Normally when the driver's I'm okay, that means they crashed.
Yeah, I put it in the, I crashed pretty bad. And it was just, the fact that it was an immediate just can you bring it back? And he was like, no.
No.
Hey, I'm on the fucking wall. And it's like, oh.
Okay.
I can picture the engineer sitting on the pit wall right now, looking at his monitor right in front of him and seeing the data, and then looking at the monitor above in the broadcast and seeing the
crash
and just being like, oh.
Oh, okay. I will tell you, the pictures of Aston Martin's floor of the car were going everywhere because it was lifted up on the crane so you could see it. Yeah, but that's
the new thing now is when the car gets lifted like that, everybody's just.
Someone posted that. Someone was like, F1 race engineers' newest, or F1 team's newest fear is when a car crashes and it's getting lifted up by the crane. Pictures of floor going everywhere.
Everywhere.
Last year when it happened to Red Bull with Checo, that thing was everywhere. But yeah, Alonso did well. He finished 5th.
Points for the team.
Yeah. Nothing crazy. They showed a little bit during the week, before I felt leading up, they were showing better pace than they were the week before.
Yeah.
For both of them too, but yeah, they nothing really else to write home about. Alpine. It's so bad.
It's bad when you are retiring the car on the formation lap.
Yeah, for electrical issues.
For electrical issues. And I'm only bringing this up because it happened before, and it's because it's funny to bring up. But when Charles crashed on the formation lap last season, that was hilarious, and that was a moment of like, oh shit, like that's a thing.
But you knew something was wrong with the car because it just it gave up. This one you didn't even see Gasly retire. They just had the radio messaging like, "Bucks, we have to retire."
Into the pit lane, and he was done. And it was just like that was the best too, because I was refreshing threads like right as that happened, and I saw Mark's tweet first. And I didn't even see it on the broadcast. I saw Mark's tweet, and it was like, Gasly's already retiring with an electrical issue. And I was like, no fucking way.
Yeah. It was, you just can't help but feel bad.
Yeah.
I mean, Ocon didn't look bad either. He finished 13th. He was in the fight for points for a while. But then he got stuck behind the DRS train and couldn't get through. So, but yeah, Alpine, they even had one of the investors was there, the boxer.
Oh, I did see that. Yeah.
Yeah. Anthony, Josiah or Josiah. No, Joshua. It's Joshua.
Going through 3 fucking names. Jesus Christ.
Oh, I'm so tired. But yeah, I feel bad for Alpine, but as I said before, Abby Pulling is the best Alpine driver because her car is pink.
Yes.
And Otmar.
Look what happens when you don't gaslight people, Alpine.
You literally do well.
You get a fast driver and a fast car.
They can perform well.
Yes.
But Otmar must have a voodoo doll somewhere. If I got to talk to him this weekend, we were going to literally tell him we're calling it Otmar's Revenge. But we didn't.
He's got, it's Otmar's Curse, Otmar's Revenge, whatever you want to call it on Alpine this season.
But yes, I feel like we should go Mercedes, Haas, McLaren, Ferrari. Yeah. So Mercedes, I have nothing to add besides that Lewis Hamilton needs to stop messing with his car setup before qualifying. I also think the man is checked out. Like, he has no care in the world. We said this last week with Mark. But stop messing with the car that makes it not good to qualify in. So then you're starting so far back.
I don't know why he does that. Like, I understand mid racer driving being like, this isn't set up to how we thought it was going to be.
Or do it during practices, not right before qualifying.
Yeah, changing it before qualifying is just not a good idea. It just gives me the feeling of just like, oh, it's like, I don't know. It's just stupid. Like, don't do that. But yeah, no. Mercedes, nothing really to write home about. I will. I'll wait. Actually, I'll wait.
George was okay. He finished 6th. He was in that group of the English drivers that literally finished all together. Yeah. All 4 of them finished together. And I'm gonna blank on the year if I can find it real fast because I did not post it that long ago. Formula One did he post it on Instagram?
What was it? Something about British drivers and
the first time a group of British drivers scored points since I want to say 97, but I think it was even earlier than that. Like, I feel like it was 70 something. It was a crazy time. But yeah, Haas. K-Mag, I almost chose this as my meme. It was that one with the person that's getting shot by all the rockets and stuff.
Yes.
And it had K-Mag's face on it, and it was all the penalties, and then it was for Nico Hulkenberg to finish with 1 point.
But that's the thing. He backed up the entire grid.
Yeah, there was good teamwork there.
It was good teamwork, and it was. I saw a couple tweets afterwards, and if it was somebody posted that it was there's a light bulb going off in the Haas garage right now, saying this is just how we have to drive all the time.
Yep.
Just send Magnussen out, shoulders out or elbows out. Just fuck everybody. Fuck all the penalties.
Mm-hmm.
Give me everything you want. I'm going to have my teammate back up the entire grid so it doesn't matter.
Yeah. I mean, I do think K-Mags, and Casper asked this question too on Threads earlier, what we thought about K-Mag's moves in the race and stuff. I do think his one move was a little dangerous. I think it was it on Albon or Yuki? That one was a little...
On Yuki.
It was on Yuki because he was right on the radio. That one maybe was a little unsafe, but I don't think...
It felt... I do agree with that. The Yuki one was the one where I was like, yeah. I was like, that one felt a little unsafe. Overall, though, it felt like weirdly too aggressive for the Haas. K-Mag and for Haas. Yeah. Like, it was like weird. I was like, the fact that you guys are already a team struggling so much. So you would think they would want to avoid penalties because penalties knock you further down the grid and then you're not going to get points. So you would think they would go out there and be like, race clean, race smart, don't get any unnecessary penalties. But it's like the fact that it was giving off this vibe of like, hey, Kev, you're the bruiser. Like, get out there, fuck everybody up. Don't care about track limits. Do everything you need to. And then Hülkenberg, this is what you're going to try to do. Or like, even if it was like a mid-race decision, it was like strategy in the middle of the race to change to that. Still was like very, very sort of like aggressive for Haas, and I'm here for it.
I liked it.
As long as it doesn't, as long as like you're not like getting too like Kevin or whoever the bruiser is, whether they switch it up or whatever, like as long as he doesn't get like too caught up in it and then somebody gets hurt.
Yes, true.
Like I'm all for it. Like fuck it, get Haas points, like sure. And definitely experiment with things because at this point you're so low, you need to change something up. Yeah. But the moment it gets to the point where you're like, oh, I'm going to do this corner, there's a good chance, I'm going to do this corner, there's a good chance I make contact with whoever's in front of me. But nope, I'm out. I'm all like, don't do that. And
I was worried about Hülkenberg because he also had electrical issues during qualifying, but his car seemed fine.
Yeah, it seemed, he
was fine.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, good strategy from them. The teamwork was there, which I feel like we've never really saw with Gunther. And I think I love Gunther, but I think AO is probably the best person for that team right now.
I do think, same. I love Gunther. I think he's hilarious. His personality is awesome. But the fact that they needed a change in that team and they brought in AO, I think was a good, smart choice by Gene if he made that call,
Yeah. Moving on, McLaren to some very harsh penalties for something that wasn't there versus the obvious jump start that should have been penalized.
So I'm as a McLaren fan, as Lando Norris being my favorite driver, genuinely, we got away with murder on that jump. Yeah. We got away with murder on that.
I mean, and when they show the overhead shot, it's clear as day he jump starts.
It's pretty brutal. And the fact that when that card came across the top of the screen and they were like, Norris jump start, no further action, I literally was like, there's no fucking way. Like, there's no way we got away with that. And then, yes, there was the weaving on the straight, the penalty and everything, which there were a couple of people on Threads who were talking about it, and they were like, the first two kind of moves back and forth, you could say like, oh, he's trying to break the streamline or the slipstream of whoever's behind him. I can't remember. Was, trying to break that for them. But then there's like a third and fourth kind of weave. And they're like, that's where it kind of gets excessive. And I was like, all right, yeah, I can see it. But like I said, it did give off the vibes of like, this is a makeup call. Like we missed it with this, and we already said that we can't do anything with this. So now we're going to kind of stretch it a little bit and hit him with something else, and give him this penalty.
I mean, even the announcers, when it comes across that there's no further action for the jump start, they're like, what? Like,
yeah, we got away with murder, and I'm more than happy to admit that. Like, I'm not complaining about it, but I'm more than happy to admit that Norris and McLaren got away with murder on that one, and it was so blatant, and it was only accentuated by the fact that he made a joke about it the day before.
Thank you. I was going to bring this up because apparently Oscar made something. I don't know if it was last week or also this past weekend. Like, and then it came true, and then Lando says he's like maybe a jump start, and then he does it. People are like, okay, you two, what are you doing?
Cool. So 2 weeks from now, Lando just has to say, finish P1, and
no, Oscar does because it's Australia. Give it to Oscar.
Yes, I'll give it to Oscar. His helmet's also really fucking cool.
His helmet's really cool.
Yeah, very cool.
But yeah.
Speaking of Oscar though, that long train, and you may not have gotten it watching the 30 minutes. I don't know if they showed it. How many times coming down the first
Yeah,
straight,
I didn't see this.
I can't tell you how many times we watched Lewis and Oscar come down the opening straight of the track, and Oscar opened DRS, and it did nothing for him. And they even they say it so many times, Crofty at one point was like, "Oh, here we go. We've seen this a couple times already." Oscar's coming down he's in DRS and everything, and it was so upsetting to watch because he does pass him, and then the moment he passes him, he locks up heading into turn one and goes.
Oh yeah, that's to give the plate.
Lewis just goes right back in front of it.
I did see that part. Yeah,
I literally was like, he has to be so pissed off. Now he ended in front of him, but that was because Lewis pitted really late and went on to softs, and he was just able to build up like a gap. But I was watching him, and I was rooting for Oscar more this race than I was Lando because he was finishing.
He was doing well.
Yeah, he was doing well. He was racing Lewis and everything, and I was just something with that DRS. It was just not clicking for him. I was hearing that the tire deg on this past weekend was really, really low. So that's why the hard tires really late into the race were still performing really well because they
did go long.
Yeah, the tire wear was really, really minimal. So it was the hard tires were lasting an extremely long time, and it wasn't lap 37 or something when Lewis and Lando pitted that the tires were on their last legs. They were still pretty healthy, relatively speaking. So that's why that I also think plays into why when we were seeing Oscar chase Lewis down the straight, he wasn't catching him that as much. But yeah, it wasn't working for him. But like I said, he did beat him, but it was mainly just because Lewis had to pit.
He did pit
stop. So Lewis had to pit, and that's when the strategy flipped for both Lewis and Lando of just, okay, hey, last out a little bit longer on cards. We're going to pit you for softs. Go out there and see what you can do.
I will say I do love the safety car. They all pitted except for Lando, so he was P1. I like that it wasn't even a thing because everyone knew he wasn't keeping P1 because he still needed to pit. It wasn't even you had a new race leader. No one cared. No one was talking about it. That it was so funny. I thought that was hilarious because he's not keeping it. You knew Max was coming back. You knew Checo was coming back, and Charles was going to go right back to 1, 2, 3, and it did.
The only other thing I want to say about McLaren right now, 2 points in front of Mercedes for third.
Oh,
2 points.
There you go.
2 points. And this is the one shout out Charles got on threads from me. Charles Leclerc is the reason it's 2 points and not one. Because Charles took fastest lap from
Yes,
Lewis.
he did.
Yeah.
Yes, he did, which leading into Ferrari. I love Charles Leclerc, but I'm not going to talk about him a lot this section because it's Ollie Beerman, and
this is the Ollie Beerman show now.
What he did, but that fastest lap from Charles Leclerc on the last lap was insane.
Awesome to watch.
Wild. People literally, I saw people's reaction and they literally Charles, where did that come from? What? But yeah, this is the Ollie Beerman show. Driver of the day. I said it before. I was he's going to be my driver of the day because of how he jumped in. Obviously, welcome to the appendix, No Appendix Club, Carlos Sainz. We were happy to have you here.
Happy to have you.
It's us two, Mark, Alex Albon, Carlos, and other people, but we just like to say it's a group of 5 at this moment.
Yeah.
I am scared if this starts a whole new domino effect of craziness in F1, what Alex Albon's appendix did.
It's a catalyst.
Yes. I will say I do question the doctors Carlos was seeing because I don't know how they let him drive on Thursday.
Yeah,
we were looking at pictures and there was the one picture of him walking in. I even showed Mom yesterday. I said, I look at this picture and I was there there is something wrong with Carlos Sainz. His face was round.
Nah, it's not good.
No, he looked so swollen. I was like, anyone knows that there was something wrong with him. I just kept picturing, like, if he crashed, like, his appendix burst in the middle of the car. Like, what? That could have ended so bad.
Oh, I don't even want to think about that.
So, yes, his appendix, he had appendicitis, had it out, and was there on the track on Sunday, walking very slowly with his IV tape on his elbow and his hospital bed.
Gotta get the pity, you know?
Yeah, someone feeling like that was a meme. It was like when you're a girl and you came back from the hospital to school, you gotta keep your hospital band on.
You gotta keep the hospital band on for the people to ask you, oh my God, what happened?
Are you okay?
Yeah.
People also were saying he looked like Joe Biden the way he was walking because he was walking so slow. And the minute he could grab onto something, he did. But yes, Ollie Bierman was pulled in. Ollie Bierman got pole in F2. Had to give up pole position. And I remember seeing someone when it first came out, someone was like, but like, why would he want to lose out on the chance at championship points in F2? People were like, because the goal is F1. Like, screw
yeah.
And Ferrari, that's his goal. It was the first time ever that there was 2 Ferrari driver academy drivers in their cars, which was great.
That's cool.
Yeah. Ollie Bierman could also be Charles Leclerc's little brother, I feel like.
I do agree with that, yes.
His taller older brother, because I didn't realize how tall Ollie Bierman was.
He's big.
He was standing next to George Russell, and he was the same height.
He's a tall guy, yeah.
Yeah, tall. Killed it. Gets FP3, his only time in the car. Because, I mean, last year he drove the Haas in practice at the end of the season. So this was his first time in the Ferrari car. Kills it. Qualifies insanely well for a rookie. And then obviously, long story short, ends up P7 in the points. Looked like a pro. Looked calm. Cool. The overtakes, I was like, who are you?
Yeah. He looked like he's been here before. And he's done it before. And when I mean that, I mean like he has like a full season under his belt.
Yes.
Of F1. And he just was so calm and so he was aware of everything around him. I will say, listening to the podcast earlier, they did get the chance to like interview him. Were they interviewing him? No, they were talking to Jack Doohan. Sorry.
Oh yeah.
They were just like getting an F2's driver's perspective of like, what is this like? You know, can you explain to us what Ollie's weekend has been like? And Jack Doohan was just saying like, you know, it's wild that he wakes up on Friday. He's immediately called to FP3. Then he's immediately called into qualifying. And then Saturday he performs as well. Like it's insane. And they were saying, they actually stand corrected again. They did interview Ollie because they were asking him, you know, what were your thoughts during the race and everything, especially the closing laps. And he goes, I was concerned when Lewis and Lando behind him were on the softs. Like, yeah. And he was like, because Lando was catching him for a bit. Lando was gaining like 2 or 3 tenths, like a second on him. And at one point, Ollie even got a message from his engineer and was like, Ollie even asked.
Ollie asked about Hamilton. Yeah.
Is Lando going to catch me? And he was like, yeah, we think in 4 laps he's going to be on you. But he stayed cool. He led them the entire time. Like you said, he finished P7. And it's the speed of that happening. I mean, like that would be like, imagine you wake up tomorrow at 8 a.m. and you get a call and you're like, hey, 11, you're going to drive in Ferraris, like for Ferrari and F1. You need to get there and do that. And then later today, you have qualifying to determine.
And then you have to race tomorrow.
And then you have to race tomorrow. And it's just, it's just like you have to.
In the second fastest car on the grid, you can say at this point.
Second fastest car on the grid, a team with so much history and so much legacy on it. And like the team that I'm going to steal Lewis Hamilton's quote from here, that everybody wants to drive for.
Mm-hmm.
And you're an 18-year-old kid on a random day just being like, shit, now I'm driving for them, you know? And
he was, even when they said congratulations where he finished, when he was doing his cooldown lap at the end, he didn't say, he was like, oh, that was amazing, thank you. But then listed off what he wanted to do better.
Yeah.
At one point, I think they said he literally was keeping pace with like Lando and Oscar and Alonso. Like he was I think at one point he was keeping pace with Charles.
There was one lap where I remember hearing this over the radio. The broadcaster said it, that he had cut the time that Lando was gaining on him only down to like a tenth of a second or something.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's so good. I said, I posted this on Threads too. I was like, I love Ollie Bierman. I would love to see Lando catch up to him, like just from my personal bias. But I was like, this drive he's putting together is awesome.
And I don't think Ollie would have backed down the way he was driving against Lewis Hamilton. He was not going to back down.
Even the fact that Lewis was the guy he knocked out of quality, or he was so close to knocking Lewis out of Q3, and he was, like we said earlier, 0.003 of a second away from doing that or something, insane. It's just like
wild.
You can't put it into words how he felt, how his dad felt, how anybody of his family felt, but it definitely then raises the question of like, all right, what happens? Because
he deserves a seat.
He's clearly not going to drive for Ferrari next year. We know that, but he made a damn well good point during this weekend of saying, "I deserve to be here. I am good enough to be here.
Yeah,
give me a seat."
Yeah, no, I did like how I did like the other drivers' support. They asked the top 3 in the post conference. They asked Charles about it before. But then you saw after on a driver's cam, Lewis got out of his car and walked back and waited for Ollie to get out of his car and was clapping for him and then gave him a hug.
Who was it? It was either Lewis or George when they pulled in and parked
it was Lewis.
At the end of the race. Lewis, it looked like literally was pulling Ollie out of the car because he wanted to like you said, clap, give him a hug, and just congratulate him. He did. When you perform that well, when a 7-time world champion is coming over to you and saying dude, great job, you're doing something right. And you deserve a seat in Formula One.
He also was adorable during the driver's parade. I took the clip and posted this on Threads because they were coming up towards the F2 garages, and he was like, "Hold on, my team's over here cheering for me." And I literally was like, "We are watching this kid's dreams come true." Literally, and it was cool to see. But yeah, it does open the question: is he in the Haas next year? I mean, that was a killer performance.
I would really hate to see him go from doing so well in Ferrari to being in a little bit of a lesser car in the Haas. But if there's to me in my mind, if there's anybody that's going to be able to do anything with the Haas, it will be him. And
and I think different leadership. Maybe Gene Haas gets his shit together and lets them make changes or spend more money. So I think, but yeah, I don't see him. Someone was saying if Toto now steals him and puts him in the Williams seat.
There you go.
And I said, but James Vowles, Alex Albon, and Ollie Bierman, I was like, that's an all-British team I can get behind.
Yep, that's an all-British team. There's some great team synergy there.
Yeah. But it was out of this world. I want to know if his dad was already at the track for the F2 weekend, or if he flew in very quickly. Because I don't remember seeing him in FP3. They showed him the first time during quali.
I'd be shocked if he was there for F2, but
he might have been. It is only still their second race, and he didn't have a good showing last week.
Right.
Because Prima liked to mess up their car. But yeah, no. Ollie Bierman, driver of the day.
Yeah.
I think Carlos will be back for this week. Alex Albon was back pretty quick after his appendix was taken out. It helps that they had the full week off this week before they have to be back in the car. They do tend to leave earlier for Australia because of jet lag purposes, but that's still, he's sitting on a plane. I think he'll be okay.
He did also say, too, that, his target is Australia to come back, Carlos. Yeah, he already said, I will be coming back in Australia. So, it's, don't get me wrong, I would love to see Ollie drive again, but I think Ferrari needs Carlos back in that seat, but absolutely fantastic job and fantastic drive from Ollie this weekend. You have to stand up and clap for him.
Yeah, and it's also wild to think about that. It's the first time Charles Leclerc has been older than his teammate.
Oh, yeah.
He's always been the younger one.
Oh.
He's been in F1 for so long, you think it would happen, but you think Marcus Ericsson, Sebastian Vettel, Carlos Sainz, Lewis Hamilton.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, moving on. You want to do your question, and then we can do the IndyCar recap?
So, for those of you who know me and everything, you know that I work in technology. I love technology. Specifically, I'm a big Apple user. And I was listening to a podcast this past weekend that it covers technology news, and they were talking about Apple. And the long story short of this was that for the past 10 years, Apple has been working on a car project. They wanted to break into the auto industry the same way that they broke into the phone industry with the iPhone and kind of disrupted that way. It was canceled. Project, came out and it was like, this was brutal project. It didn't really work as well as we wanted to, blah, blah, right. Long story short. But during that podcast, there was a little tidbit that I found really interesting in there, in that Apple was in talks to buy 3 different car companies during this time, like the middle stages of this project. One was Kia, one was Tesla, and then the other was McLaren. And I thought this was interesting because obviously McLaren being McLaren and having an F1 team, if Apple did buy them, we would have seen either a McLaren Apple F1 team or an Apple F1 team. So my question for Casey is, if you had a team, like a corporate body come in and buy an F1 team, what company would you like to see?
Okay, I thought about this in different...
Oh, Case, your mic sounds like really poopy.
Hold on. Just go into 1 second, people.
Technical difficulties.
Can you hear me?
No, it sounds still pretty bad.
Oh, man. Hold on, I'm pausing it. Okay, sorry about that. We're back.
Technical difficulties are solved. So, I'll reiterate the question.
No, because they said the question. I just hit pause. So it goes right. It'll just continue. So yeah, what I think would be an entity. So I thought about it in different, what's already involved in F1, what we're missing from F1, like how there's clothing brands, how there's like drink companies and all this stuff. So I went at it from an entertainment side. This is where my mind was going. And you're going to be happy with the team I pick because it's McLaren. But because of their 2 drivers and their personalities, I think if like Nickelodeon was to go into a team to like work with them, brand deals, like all this stuff, just put money into them, McLaren would make sense. 1, because it's orange, and 2, because Lando and Oscar have great personalities. Even McLaren as a whole, especially like the Indy ones, like they have big personalities just as much as the F1 drivers. So I feel like that would be a cool thing to do because it's something that's not involved in F1. I know they do like the kids broadcast, but I feel like Nickelodeon could do some cool spin on an F1 team. I don't know exactly how, but I just feel like it would work. And I feel like it would open F1 to so many eyes. Like they would get such a younger fan base looking in on it, because if they did like little things on Nickelodeon, it would be. So yeah, that would be my Nickelodeon and McLaren.
That'd be so cool, and that works. That works so well because Nickelodeon is already so involved with the NFL, and they have like kids broadcasts of NFL games. So like, it wouldn't be hard for them to do the same thing with F1. That would be really cool. You could also get really creative with the liveries.
Yes, you could. You really could.
You could get so creative with the liveries there.
But even
that would be.
You know how like on the NHL Network they have like that kids program where they like the drivers show more of their personality, but they also do like, I think they talk about like technical side of things. I feel like if there was a kids program geared towards that, but like with one team and you had Oscar and Lando describing things, it would be so effective. So I would say, Nickelodeon McLaren. That is my answer.
That's fantastic. That's a great answer. I was really, when I first thought of this question, I was really contemplating like just posing it to you right now and just like giving it to you live. Just be like, hey, what's the first company you think of?
No, because I don't know if I could come up with it.
I'm really happy I told you beforehand because that's a fantastic answer. So I thought about this and I thought I approached it from two different ways. I went the Apple route just because, like I said, if I had to pick a team, I would pick Apple because Apple's really cool. And big Apple user, so I was like, what would it look like if they would buy McLaren? What would it look like? First of all, I think a Apple designed livery would be quite possibly the cleanest and the sexiest livery we would have on
that'd be nice.
The grid, because Apple's so good at their packaging, the product design is so good that I could just see that translating well over to the livery and getting designers on that and everything. And I think it would be really cool. I think they would run into issues because Apple's mainly a software company and they don't do well with, trying to make everything work together. I can also see Apple being annoying and being like, we're not going to use your shitty wheel software. We're going to develop our own. And then there's issues.
Yeah, but if you think about it, they have Dell now. So they made it work with a technology company.
That's true. So I thought about that. I thought that would be really cool. The other company that I thought of, and this is going to make complete sense to you as soon as I say it. Marvel. I mean, come on. That would be, you could do.
I mean, you have to do Alpine at this point.
You can kind of do Alpine, but, if you don't have to. You can go with McLaren and like a better car, but I just being Marvel fanboy as much as I am, it would just be so cool. And you could get really creative with the livery and you could do different things for the drivers and everything. And I think it would be really, really awesome. You also already have a little bit of F1 and Marvel collaborating for the Spider-Man game because of Lando Norris designing a suit for that. So there's already a little bit of collaboration there. So I would love to see that. And then that'd be fucking cool if Lando Norris's race suit was the suit we designed for the Spider-Man game. That would be cool. So cool. So
you'd be flying around cities in that suit all the time.
God, I'm so happy. The game just had an update the other day, and I thought it was a suit coming out, and I was like, perfect. I'm going to download it, I'm going to replay the game, and I'm going to replay it with that suit. It didn't, but it's just an excuse for me to replay that game 2 more times. So
what system do you use? PlayStation, right?
PlayStation 5.
Did you see what Lando Norris announced today?
I did. PlayStation was also going to be my other one, but I thought about that and I was like, oh, well, PlayStation's main thing is white and blue. So I was like, it would look really similar to a potential Apple livery, stuff like that. Yeah. But I thought it was really cool. I was really hoping because the covers on your PS5 can snap on and off. And you can swap it out with different colors. So I was like, oh, that'd be sweet if he had LN4 type PlayStation.
Well, I'm sure I could see it coming. I
was like, that would be awesome. And I would absolutely buy those. And then it was funny because that video ended and he was like, oh, I'm a PlayStation, play star, play partner, whatever it is. And I was like, okay, what the fuck does that mean?
Listen, I think because he's so big in gaming, they're just, I feel like, another personal sponsor for him. But I could see things like that coming out, like what you just said. He'll have cool themed helmets. That's a perfect sponsor for him.
Oh, yeah, it makes complete sense. And if they drop PlayStation covers or even a Lando Norris PlayStation 5 remote, instant buy.
Oh, yeah. Someone posted pictures from when he was little, on a Christmas, playing a PlayStation, or if only little Lando could see this now.
The video he was in, he was saying I used to play Gran Turismo on the PS2 with my dad and everything, and then he's and then you get into F1 when those games started coming out and everything, and he's and now I can play as myself on F1. He was that's a little weird, but he goes, that's my dream. He was that was my dream. So I did see that video, but yeah. So PlayStation, if you're listening, Lando Norris controller.
Okay.
You'll at least get $60 out of me.
Okay. I'll clip that. I'll also clip the question because I feel like there'll be a fun question to pose on Threads and Instagram and stuff. But Good question. I like that one. Moving on to our last topic. I hope if you've made it this far, this is probably what most people tuned in for. So,
this is why we did it. So you had to make it this far.
Yeah, so we did it.
Stay here and listen to this whole goddamn episode.
So, no shock to anyone. I went to the IndyCar season opener this weekend in St. Petersburg, Florida. Beautiful location. I understand why they call this one, and I think it's Long Beach, the Monaco of IndyCar, because you're racing through the city along the water that's lined with all the yachts. Like, it's just a beautiful,
cool.
A beautiful scenery. And it's their 20th year, and the city's used to it. You wouldn't know it was going on. Like, traffic wasn't insane. They have it figured out. They have these bigger parking lots you can park, and then buses pick you up and take you, like shuttle buses. But, like, even not many streets are closed until you get, like, 1 or 2 blocks before the track. That's it. And it's along the water. So, like, we got to and from the track every day so quick. Like, it was not hard. But it was a very, very cool experience. As I said, me and the one other girl, Julie, were interviewed by Andretti Motorsport for their social media. It's not out yet. I keep stalking. I follow them literally everywhere if I wasn't following them, so I don't miss it.
Now I'm gonna follow them.
Yeah, they literally said, what's your favorite part about IndyCar? And I kept saying all weekend, it's the accessibility. The accessibility for what you can buy and what you can get is insane. So Friday, the entire paddock is open to everyone. It's open to everyone, so you don't need a ticket. But Saturday and Sunday for race days, you have wristbands, or if you get the paddock and pit passes, you have like a little badge. But it's almost like fairgrounds, like outside the paddocks. Like it has like the food and the like concession stand stuff, like where I got this flag and what I got Owen as a surprise. That's like all those different things are all around different drivers. Like Pato has his own merch stand set up. Teams have their own merch, like buses stand up. It's all over. But then you get into the paddock area, and it was some of the teams were under the parking garage and some were outside. But when you go in there, it's like the team's setup where they're working on the cars before they go out. They're like technology things. Under the parking garage, like you saw every team bus, like where they're like sitting outside just chilling and eating, like the teams that are working on there. Firestone Tires has a huge setup where you can like see all the tires and where they're doing their data and everything. The drivers are just walking around. You literally can be walking through, and as they're getting close to a session, they're wheeling the cars out to get to the track. So like the cars are just going by you. Yeah, it's insane. You keep walking, you can go by the hospitality suite, so you can see like McLaren's hospitality, Andretti's hospitality, which is where we saw Otmar. He was going into Andretti's hospitality. We tried getting a picture with him, but he didn't blow us off, quote unquote, but he kind of just like, gotta go. It's just insane. I can take you like day by day because there's different things each day. Quickly, I will. So Thursday was chill day, whatever. They had like a party in the park at night. They had a stage set up. It's kind of like where I feel like when you see F1 races, they do like the fan zones where the drivers go on stage and there's like a bunch of fans sitting around. So that's where they are, but they had the cars all out in line. They had drivers' cars on. So Pato's car was there. So they also have drivers' cars, like the cards with their pictures on each car. So I got I got the McLaren boys. But then the drivers come on, they're giving away free tickets. There was music playing. Like it was just a chill, like there was some food trucks. They also had a 5K that day because they do this huge charity for the Children's Hospital that weekend during
That's cool.
the race weekend. Yeah, so there was a 5K along the water. So yeah, that was Thursday, chill. Wednesday was practice 1 for IndyCar. Also, there was also the USF 2000 and then Indy Next were there as well. So we get there, but our McLaren did an International Women's Day panel with 4 ladies, one which was Tasia, who planned the whole trip for us from F1 Femme. I lost the paper that told me what else. There was also, let me see if I can look it up real fast. Hold on. I don't want to get it wrong.
I would love to see all the cars just lined up like that and just be able to like get up close and personal with them.
Yeah, no, it was it was like just seeing that was like so cool. Just you literally can get up there and like they had like engineers staying there. They were like they would like take pictures for you, so you could like literally get up and like literally next to the cars.
That's awesome.
Yeah, hold on. Sorry, I thought I had this up, but I don't want to get it wrong. Sorry.
I'm trying to think of. I had a question and now I just lost it.
Okay, so I'll get their names wrong. So there was obviously Tasia, one girl Sarah who has her own marketing company that's within motorsports, but she also runs Grid Click on Instagram and social media. Katie, who's one of the McLaren engineers, badass. I could listen to her talk forever. And then Allison, who's in charge, who's from Penske Entertainment, but her resume was wild. Like she's produced Super Bowls, she's done like she worked for the Olympics for years. Insane. So they asked questions, they talked about different things. It was also run by Crystal. She was the moderator. She's the social media. She works for social media for Our McLaren. So that was cool. But like Our McLaren's team principal came to the talk and listened.
That's sweet.
Yeah, and then they took questions from us in the crowd, which it was very nice. I said, I am a McLaren fan, but the more I learned about McLaren this weekend and how inclusive they are, I became a bigger fan. Like what they stand for is very clear. So someone asked a question about like what's going on in motorsport right now with women in the workplace and everything. And the team principal gave his answer actually. And he said that they had this talk a while ago and they put a whole plan in motion for something like this was to happen. If they report it, they have to follow the plan. They have to like make sure go through all these steps. And it's something that has worked for them. And they're trying to take to IndyCar to be implemented in every team.
Wow.
And, you could tell it was something he was very, very passionate about.
Right. Like
yes, he gets it. He was also funny because like Kate, the engineer, literally said her biggest, she's like, I just want cargo pants with pockets. She's like, that's something that because they were saying how to not be set apart from the men. And she knows what she's talking about. And she was like, well, my pants don't have pockets. So that's what
yeah.
She's like, and he was like, I just wrote it down. Don't worry. It was. But yeah, so it was cool to see, hear all their experiences. I did Crystal pointed a question directly to Tasia about how, because she's a person of color, she's also queer, how does she make a name for herself in the motorsport world, or how if she's ever had any experiences and stuff. They posted a clip of Crystal because someone asked her a question about something that's ever stood out, and she said last year in St. Pete, it was her first. She never worked in motorsport. It was her first motorsport race. Right. And this dad was like, hey, came up to her, was said, hey, you. And she was nervous because she didn't know what was going on. And he just said, I'm happy to see someone like you in this paddock. And she said it makes her emotional still to this day. And she'll never forget because he truly meant it. He was happy to see a woman of color working within a team high up.
That's a powerful moment for her, I'm sure.
So, then because it was run by Our McLaren, they invited everyone that went to the panel. We all got wristbands. That was the wristband on my wrist that I cut off. I still have it. To watch the practice sessions for Indy Next and IndyCar from their hospitality, which was at turns 5 and 6. So,
that's so cool. Yeah, we just kept walking around after whatever. We were just chilling, getting something to eat or whatever. And then we walked over to their hospitality, and it's what you think. So maybe on a smaller scale compared to F1 hospitalities, because they literally take those things up and it's like a trailer and they pack them and take them with them. But you walk in, there's the 3 helmets for each driver just sitting there in a case. That's a huge projector screen TV so you can watch from sitting in there. A ton of tables. They have I think they lost power right before we came in because there was no air conditioning. It was so hot, and the TV wasn't working. But they do have a full bar. They normally have catered, you can get full meals from their hospitality. So at first I was so we're just watching here from the on the TV screen. No, Go outside. They have a bunch of table and chairs, literally track level at the one turn. You're behind the barrier. There's the security guards and then another fence, but still you're right there. Yeah. Or we could go up. This is where I FaceTimed you from.
or you could go up the steps, and they had an observation deck on top of their hospitality. That's where we watched from, because you're above the fence. You can see the cars coming, and there was a screen right in front of us. We could see everything else, and we watched both practices from out there. I just got chilled seeing it. It was so cool, because it's something you never think you're ever going to be invited to, like, watch something from, and just, they were so nice. It was so cool. Obviously, it was like mine and the one other girl, Julie, our first motorsport event ever. So when we got up there and you saw the cars coming around, I was like, I think I'm going to cry.
Yeah, that's so cool.
Yeah, it was sick. So like we spent the day with them, which, like I said, was super, super nice. But after, which is interesting, it's different for F1. They have 2 practice sessions and then qualifying the race. So we left then. That was Friday night. Friday night, Tasia planned this dinner for a bunch of, you bought a ticket and stuff, and we went out to eat, but it was like other people, other creators. I met the nicest 2 sisters that have a podcast. They want to do something with us because we're siblings and they're siblings. Yes.
Yes, absolutely.
I said, please, we would love to. So yeah, it was like other content creators, people that like won the giveaway that Tasia gave and other people gave. So it was so cool just to meet everyone. Saturday we get up. Did we take our time leaving? I can't remember. Whatever. We go back to the track. We get to watch quali. Well, they let me borrow one of their pit passes. We got to go in, and that's where like I tried FaceTiming you because I was right behind the McLaren pit box.
Oh my God,
so cool. Yeah, it was so cool. And then Tasia and Ellie is her name. She's like an IndyCar IndyCar content creator. She goes all the time, but they started talking to the one lady that helps run the Firestone tires. So we got to watch.
Oh.
We got to watch IndyCar's qualifying from the Firestone pit box.
Oh my God!
No, not qualifying. Sorry, the Indy Next race from the Firestone pit box on Sunday. So we were trackside in front. Like they bring their portable like with like the computer screen and stuff, like the pit box. Literally, they just move them in and out though, because they go in front of the real teams, in front of the barriers in the pit lane. So we were literally sitting there watching the entire race. The screen is huge right in front of us. It was so cool. We got to talk to I found out that Firestone Tires is run by women.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's really, I did not know that.
I did not know that either. They were the nicest people. I'll say it. When we were walking up to them, she met us outside, me and the one girl, Mia, and we were walking up, and they said, she said, the saying used to be no tits in the pit because there was no women ever. She goes, but now there are. So she goes, we just took the no away. But you find out it's literally mostly, if it is run by women, which is sick. Like they're the most, probably the most important people at the race because they're in charge of the tires and all that data and stuff. So yeah, we got to watch from that pit lane or that pit box, which was insane. Also probably the hottest day of the year. It was so hot. That's where I was mostly sunburned. And then race day, obviously we watched Indy Next from there, but then we went up and watched from the bleachers, which the bleachers are great. We were literally at the start finish line. Are there also the flag? They have like the checker flags are like double the ends. The way they're doing like a whole color guard routine with the way it's so good. When I posted the video, someone said Doreen Pin would not miss that flag because it was you can't miss it. But before the race, you're allowed to walk on the grid as the cars are lined up in the a Brundle grid walk, but they're lined up in the pit lane. You're allowed to walk on. So we got to go in, and we were just walking up and down as the drivers are there getting ready, as like their families are there on the. Yeah, I think I don't know if I sent you these videos. The cars are there. Yeah, just walking up and down. Just walking up and down is
so fucking cool.
So then we watched from the stands. Stands were great. I think my only pain in the ass thing with the stands. It's their metal bleachers, but they're metal bleachers in the cooking sun of Florida. I was literally I am being cooked right now. Like I was in the oven.
Yeah,
it's roasting.
Yeah, that's pretty brutal.
Yes.
Yeah.
But then the race starts. I know I've watched IndyCar on TV, but like again, being there, I mean, their cars look very similar to F1 cars. They just have like the shield and stuff. It was just wild, like to see like Pato O'Ward walking through the grid or through the paddock and pit, to see Marcus Ericsson, to see Roman Grosjean. Like the man shouldn't be alive, but there he is walking in front of me like 10 feet. Like it was seeing Mario and Michael Andretti. They were in like, well, first of all, Mario Andretti is the shortest man alive. He's so cute. He's literally just a short Italian man. So adorable. But when they start, I don't know if you've ever watched an IndyCar race, but when they start the race, they do like a few
bits and pieces, like
formation laps, their warm-up laps. They might do like 2 or 3. And on the last one, they get into the order. So they get into like 2 lanes. And when they come around that last corner, they see the green flag go and it's just taking off. It's done it. Literally, I got chills. I was like, I think it's a rolling start basically, but
yeah,
the way they just fall into line perfectly.
That's
and cool. Come around the end, and the next thing you know, they just take off. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so cool. They also changed their like format for practice. So all the cars ran for 20 minutes, and then they split it up for 10 minutes and 10 cars. So there's only like, it's like half the grid goes for like 10 minutes, and then the other half of the grid goes for 10 minutes. So they're not all on the track at the same time. Oh. Which makes sense. Like that street circuit, it's a street circuit. It was tiny.
So it's tight.
F1 should do that for Monaco because they probably, especially for qualifying, because for qualifying, they split the grid. And they do one more round with like the top 10, I think, or the top 12. And then it's the fast 6.
Oh.
And I know their cars are faster than F1. I think the track was a little shorter. They were going lower than a minute. That's how fast their track time was. Their lap times were.
Shit.
Yes. Because you'd be like, you blank and they'd be back.
That's fast.
That's
very fast.
So yeah, Joseph Newgarden. I feel like I have to say it. There was this man like screaming his name. You come to find out he's like I think he's like goes to every race. So Joseph Newgarden like knows him basically.
Right.
He was like the deepest voice. We were walking by at one point. He's like, Joseph Newgarden. It's so good. There's 3 Swedes in IndyCar. There was a group of Swedish fans right near us. Race day, dressed in lederhosens. It was so good.
I love it.
Right behind Marcus Ericsson's pit box. It was so good. He didn't finish the race. I think he had like electrical issue because they had no idea when they interviewed him what was wrong with the car. Right. Seeing a pit stop that close is insane.
It's got to be nuts. It's got to be so cool.
And the sound, I always thought it was too loud, but it wasn't. It was perfect, the sound. Like, I could listen to it over and over again. It could have put me to sleep. It was so calming. We could hear it Sunday morning when we woke up. I was like, am I imagining something? And then I went out into the living room, and everyone was like, did you hear the cars on track? We were like 7 miles away, but we could hear the cars on track.
Holy shit.
Because they warmed up at like 8 a.m. IndyCar.
Oh.
Uh-huh. But yeah, no, being that close. But yeah, Joseph Newgarden won. Pato O'Ward got second. And Scott McLaughlin
got because
I got the video. Yeah, I was like, this is for real. I was like, he's going to do the champagne slam.
He's going to do it.
So then we are sitting there right before the end, like 10 laps to go, and Taser texts us, like, come to the podium. I got a good spot, because anyone can go to the podium. Like F1, but it's off on a little stage. So we run over. The fence is the microphone. We were right there.
Right.
So they bring the car in, and then, like, the Joseph Newgarden's car, they bring his car in, and he gets out of the car, and they shoot confetti off. And he's like does his whole stands on the car and cheers.
Yeah.
And then they go over to do their podium. What's so funny, and we said if Max Verstappen had to do this at an F1 podium, he would quit. They might take like 5 or 6 podium pictures because they have to change hats for the sponsors.
Oh my god!
They do their team hats. They do Firestone hats. They do like the official, I think, Grand Prix hats. They do the whatever engine manufacturer they have hats, which they all were Chevy. They literally, we were like, they're still going, and everyone's like, Max Verstappen would literally be like, see ya.
Yeah, he'd be done.
Yeah, and then they give him
out of there.
They give him the champagne, and then I literally was like, I was in a good spot, and I literally, because the speaker was blocking us, but he went like perfectly in between, so I was like, yes,
yeah,
get it. The champagne bottle, I think, was a little flat because it didn't, because someone was on Threads was like, did you get sprayed? I was like, no, it wasn't spraying that far. But yeah, so the accessibility and for how affordable it is, you have to go. The racing, like, we saw overtakes right in front of us because the final straight or the start-finish straight is an old, I don't know if it's old or it used to be an airport, like, runway.
Oh, my God. So it's...
Joseph Newgarden comes around at one point, and literally you hear everyone go, oh, because he's overtaking someone in the corner, but we could see it perfectly.
That's so cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, it's...
Damn it.
It's so... we have to go to another one. We have to go.
The videos you were sending me, like, really were, like...
Mm-hmm.
I've always, ever since starting to watch F1 and motorsports, like, I'm like, I really want to go to one of these. Like, it would be really cool. But seeing the videos that you were sending and everything, I was like, okay, I have to go to one of these.
No, yeah, it's whatever you're looking for in F1, but in America and easy to get to, and like the best bang for your buck is IndyCar. Like, I'm not even joking. It's like you're just walking down the street and Pato's walking up next to you. Like, it's so.
Yeah, that's wild.
Yeah, and they're all so nice. Like, they could all be fake, but they're all so nice. But yeah, apparently Tampa Bay players were there, Lightning players. And they shared one of the players' stories on like the Indy car, like, or St. Pete GP Instagram account. And when I looked at the picture, I was like, he was literally behind us. They were called track suites, quote unquote. They were at the top of the bleachers, so they were covered. But they were like top, so they were higher up, which had a perfect feel. Like, I wouldn't have complained at all. But yeah, he was literally, because I could see the Firestone pit box, and we were right in front of the Firestone pit box. So I was like, okay. Whatever Lightning player was back there was right there. But yeah.
That's awesome.
Yes. So show and tell. So I sent you a picture of this. I said, should I get this? I did get it because it was sick. We went to an art event the one night for the charity that was raising money. And they had all different motorsport art, photography. I was in awe of the photographs. So cool. They were selling pieces. So the original on the canvas was like $7,500. I was like, yeah, okay. Obviously, it can't. But like a bunch of the girls bought like huge on canvas, like not like a canvas painting, but like on like it was like a movable. They rolled it up. This insane. I think I wanted them to send me a picture. I can show you to you. This gorgeous picture. Like, if you were looking at it, it's like one of those like, oh, I like it, Picasso, because like it was also like more feminine colors. But the way it was painted, and then the guy representing the artist was there because the artist is like 80 years old. Goes, oh no, these were printed back in the 70s.
What the hell?
And the deal they were selling them for, they were like, we have, and it was going to charity. They're like, we have to, like, it's So I could not bring that picture home. I would have brought that picture home because the price was like, but I couldn't fit it in my carry-on suitcase. So I bought this canvas painting of Michael Schumacher in the Ferrari.
That's so cool.
Mm-hmm.
That car is beautiful too. But
and it's literally, it's 11 of 50.
That's awesome. That is such a cool thing to have.
Yeah, so I'm going to get it framed and hang it up, but it's sick. They had Daniel Ricciardo from his Monza win, and it looked fake. Like, when you looked at the painting, you're like, it looked like they made it on, like, a computer. That's how good it was. Sick. But yeah, I wanted to show that. I just need to get it framed.
Yeah, that and frame's going to look gorgeous.
Yeah. Obviously, the one stand had all different flags, so I got... And remember how I was questioning if I could wear my Ferrari t-shirt?
Yeah.
Everyone on Threads is right. I saw so many Red Bull t-shirts. I saw so much F1 merch. I actually saw a Red Bull car. There was a Red Bull fan zone, and we were walking in the one day. Someone was like, there's a Red Bull car down that alleyway. And we looked down the alleyway. There was literally a Max Verstappen Red Bull car on, like, the back of a, like, truck.
Interesting.
But there was a Red Bull fan zone not far, so I think you could go watch the race. But there was a Red Bull event, so they had a car there.
Cool.
But at this same place, they had other little F1 trinkets and stuff. So this is where I got you your gift. I told Mom, I showed Mom what I got you. Got you Lando's McLaren car. I think it's from. It's the MCL 36. So and it's from the Australian Grand Prix. So I think when he was on with Daniel Ricciardo. But if you look,
my God, that is beautiful.
If you look close enough.
Oh, he's in it.
He's in it.
Oh my God.
So yeah, so it's the Australian GP McLaren.
That
MCL.
is so cool. That's going right on my desk.
That's what I thought of. I was like, Owen has this like his shelves right there. I was like, I can see it now. So yeah, that was. They also had a Charles Leclerc one. They had when they wore the all yellow Monza suits. That car was there, and I really was like, but I wanted to flag more.
No, I don't blame you for that. Oh, thank you so much. That is that's going right on my. Oh, I'll have to clear out some shelf space now.
It's not that big.
Shit.
But
no, that is fantastic.
Yeah, like in relation to the, it's like the smaller model, but it's.
And honestly,
it was Lando.
It might be. There's a spot like right here underneath my vertical monitor that it might be able to go.
Yeah, but it's like in the. I don't think you can take it out of the. Maybe you can take the because there's like a plastic casing, so I don't know if you can take it out. So then it sits just on the black things, and it tells you what car it is.
Yeah. Oh, I'll have to play around with that and see.
There is blue in it, but yeah.
That's fine. I don't. Well, look, that's fantastic because I don't have any F1 stuff right now. I think literally the only.
You can.
Oh yes.
Even.
Oh my God, it's so good. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. With the Google Chrome wheels.
That's.
They spin. This new fidget spinner, everyone. So yeah. All in all, I'm sure I'll bring other stuff about IndyCar, but if you can go.
Yeah,
you have to go.
I definitely.
So good. But yeah. If you've made it this far, thank you. This is a long one. Somehow this is longer than last week's with Mark.
Well, we did have a lot to talk about. I mean, we had a really good race to watch. We had, there was, my question I wanted to ask you and everything. And, I wanted to hear all about IndyCar. So I'm very happy. I was very happy for you when you were going and everything. And I was, it looked like you had a blast. So it
was so much fun.
I'm very, very jealous of you.
So much fun. But I can close this out. Thank you again, like I said, if you made it this far to listening to episode 51. We will be back. Or as always, please give us a follow on our socials. Give us a subscribe over at Underground Sports on YouTube. Please like or leave a comment, review on wherever you listen to the podcast platform. It helps us grow. We'll be back next week with the Australian GP preview. Maybe something else in store, which I'll talk to you when we finish recording. But yeah, we will definitely be back. So thank you for listening, and we will see you next week.
See you next week. People.